Even that is not really the worst thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's worse than that?
What?
Girls that talk to you for a very long time, but they will never meet you.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I feel your pain.
Your entire dating experience.
Okay, so today we have Herbert and Kylie, who are co-founders of the app Highblood. Okay, so at first I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll give a description of the app, but I think you guys will do a much better job. So what is Highblood, the app?
Kylie, you wanna go?
Well, Herbert would describe it as a Tinder with an income filter.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, it is an app that allows you to verify your credentials. So far, we have 3 credentials that you can verify, which is income, education, and profession. And this will allow you to be able to eventually get rid of catfishes in the dating app. Yeah, as long as you verify one of your credentials, you are able to unlock a feature that will allow you to only see other verified people as well. So it means that you're completely eliminating any fake profiles from the feed that you're swiping on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how is that? Don't other apps also do similar stuff? Like they verify with one other platform or something?
Yes, correct. But I think that verifying under another platform, like let's say Facebook, like connecting your Tinder account or whatever dating account to Facebook is not exactly a security thing, because you can easily create a very fake Facebook, and that's what we realized when we did our market research in the dating app scene. We, like Herbert, always encounters prostitutes and escorts on dating apps.
Yeah, they're everywhere on Facebook.
Yeah, they will always just WeChat him their number and say, hey, come WeChat me, send me money, whatever.
Anyone that sends you, asks you
and they
for
are verified
WeChat.
on Facebook. And, but then, when people genuine people who are on dating apps who are looking for a relationship and not just for like sex with a prostitute or escort, like they get really frustrated that they have to waste their time like swiping through people that they know that they're not really interested in.
So that means, but what about when you say dating apps, you mean more stuff like the swipe left, swipe right? Because OkCupid and all that, there's a lot more extensive questions you have to answer, right?
It's not mandatory to answer questions on OkCupid.
Oh, there's no minimum number of questions you have to answer before your profile becomes public?
There is a minimum of 15 questions.
Okay.
And after you're done with 15 questions, then you are okay to go.
So you feel that's still not enough to verify? Because people can still fake answers.
They can fake their profiles. They can put a catfish.
Is also like things that is
searchable.
Yeah.
Searchable. Like, you mean what, they're employed?
So you can't really search for a picture, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know what to search for. You can't even imagine it.
Yeah.
So you can search for income because it's an objective measure. That what I mean is $1,000 is $1,000 no matter where you go.
Yeah, it's not like you can filter like, oh, I want a funny guy, and then you know what I mean? That's something that's subjective.
Personality traits are so subjective.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you mean other dating apps and websites, they don't ask for your income? There's no other app that does that?
There are other apps like Luxy. More and more apps are doing it.
Okay,
actually.
I see. So,
but they don't have the degree of seriousness and intensity, because we are very fierce in allowing people to verify specific income levels.
And who does the verification?
We do it manually, but in the future it'll be left to the robots.
As in the two of you do it manually.
Yeah.
But there's also, I thought there's some element of the 5 people who are already users of the app have to verify the new user. So how does that work?
Okay, so we want to make the app very democratic.
Okay.
We don't want to be exclusive in a way that we disallow certain groups or certain, groups in society from our app. So what we do is we get 5 users in the app to vote on a new user on whether they should be accepted into the app.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you get 3 out of 5 votes, you are in the app. If not, you can just wait another 12 hours, or
you'll get in the app.
Yes.
Okay.
No, as in not as in you can try again, like
Oh.
to get people to vote for you.
So it'll be another 5 people.
Yes.
Okay.
Since all random.
Or you can.
Or you can pay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can pay.
to
So you
get
can pay to get in for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then where does the
Bypass.
verification process go there?
When you set
Verification,
up your profile.
Highblood doesn't verify like who you are when you come in,
Yeah.
but the verification is done on the objective measures. On the 3 credentials that we have has objective measures.
Mm-hmm.
So income,
Mm-hmm.
education, which school you come from, and profession.
Okay. So basically it doesn't filter like if you make $5 a year, it won't keep you out of the app.
No,
It's
No.
just a certain tier that is visible on
the
app.
filter exists in a robust and elegant way. The
Okay.
filter would differ from person to person.
Okay. So it's a filter more than like a wall with a minimum height, lah, right?
Yeah, correct. You
Okay.
create your own filters. So let's say you want girls.
Not us.
Yeah.
We don't filter
Yeah,
anything.
You don't filter anything. It's
Okay.
you are the one filtering. Because you have to admit that some people, everyone has a preference when it comes to dating, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not being racist, it's not being like, you know, specifically any, like being discriminating
Okay.
in a way. But it's like we all have a preference and certain people just prefer it that way. So we are enabling people to just stop wasting their time to
Yeah.
find the person that they're really interested in terms of wherever, as much as we can do, which is objective facts. Obviously,
Yeah.
we can't say, you know, like, we can't verify a funny guy, we can't verify, like,
The
kind of
philosophy
things.
behind that is once you get all the superficial thing out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
you can focus on what really matters,
yeah.
like conversational chemistry
Okay.
and things you have in common, what interests you like.
Okay.
So all naturally come up in conversation. You don't have to like emblazon them
Yeah.
on your profile or anything like. We don't believe in that.
So that means what you're saying is that someone who earns $5 a year, who works as a random job, say a YouTuber, which is not known to be a very lucrative thing in Singapore, and he went to primary school, he
Yeah.
can still get on the app.
Yeah.
It's just people who are not looking for those sort of criteria or benchmarks will
Yeah.
not find him. Lah.
We
Yeah.
kept emphasizing
I see.
that.
Okay.
Like in our pitches, we would say that even an IT grad, no offense to IT grads, but even a IT person can be. We want them to be really proud of who they are
Mm-hmm.
and verify that they come from IT. What's so bad about coming from IT? Is there anything wrong? Nothing wrong. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We want people to take control and have to be proud of who they are.
Okay. So then my next question is going to go back to, I think the thing that I'm guessing you guys have been questioned about the most, that one post, which happened I think in March 2016.
I like to sensationalize things.
Okay. So just to give our listeners the context, right? So I think we can pull it up also. I think if you just we can show it. But from what I recall, it was.
What should I need to Google?
What should I Google?
We took it down already, so you cannot pull it up anymore.
Oh.
But would there be images online?
I
Because
think
Yeah,
that
there will
might
be
be,
images online.
yeah.
so what would be Highblood Facebook
Just-
post?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pull up the Reddit post, the one with the personal attacks.
I think that one we can, because why I want to talk about this thing is because there was the post and then there were how people reacted to it.
Yeah.
Lah. So I think the Reddit is like
Are you talking
maybe
about this one?
maybe how like, more
really
about
can't
how
see it from
people
here.
react. If you just go Google images.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
there
This
you
is
go.
it.
That's the
Okay.
Reddit post.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Reddit post. So dating app, no banglas, no maids, no uglies, no fakes, no bots, no escorts, just pure quality like you. Okay, so you were saying, you like to sensationalize things.
Yeah.
So how is that relevant to this? Like, what was the thought process?
So eventually, I thought that Highblood would have race filters.
Okay.
So if we go to the extreme of having a race filters, what would people say then? So I wanted to introduce this conversation
Mm-hmm.
to have with people, to get people to realize what we're trying to go after,
Okay.
which is our goal was actually to eliminate fake profiles, which is the most pressing problem in online identities on the internet.
Okay.
So the goal was actually to eliminate fake profiles, to introduce more honesty and more legitimacy in terms of how people know each other
Mm-hmm.
and begin to initiate contact with each other
Mm-hmm.
on the internet.
Okay.
That was the goal.
That was the goal. But what happened when you posted it?
I did sort of anticipate that it might go viral, but it actually didn't. Nothing happened for a week.
So what was the tipping point? Because from
The trigger was because I was also looking for a co-founder at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I think there was a stimulus from when I went to NTU, and someone got really offended that I was looking for a co-founder in my alma mater, NTU.
Oh, okay.
So why would you be offended at someone looking for a co-founder? It's an opportunity for friends, right?
Yeah.
So I think she got really offended, and I think it started from there.
So how did that cause? Because at the end of it, it was covered on multiple papers, not only locally but globally as well, right?
Yeah.
So how did her reaction kind of lead to all that happening?
I have no idea to this day.
But she posted some stuff. Who was the first publication who picked it up?
I can't remember actually.
Can't
I think it
remember.
was Reddit.
Reddit.
And Mashable.
Oh, Mashable. So once it got on Mashable, then it just spread lah. So that was in March 2016. So do you think? So in general, am I right to say that most of the articles written about it, right, were like this is some fucked up shit. You know, this is racist. This is bigoted.
Yeah.
Most of the posts were like that.
I think all.
So what's your thoughts on that?
I sincerely apologize for the.
Oh no, I'm not asking
impact
for an apology, because, like, I mean, we.
Yeah, I know you're not asking for apology.
Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on it, because I think sometimes, I mean, the internet is a very easy place for how you say, groups to gather and target someone, whether they're right or wrong. And sometimes I think people are kind of forced to apologize when they might not really mean it, and it's just circumstance. So this one, we actually brought you guys here to hear your honest opinions on it, because I know you posted a public apology lah.
Yeah.
And in this world right now where everyone's walking on thin ice and anything you say could offend someone, right? I know you posted apologizing to people who were offended lah. But right now, what was your initial reaction when you saw all that? Do you think it was justified, the backlash, or it's something you knew that was coming, and when it came, you're like, this is my plan in action?
What motivated me to post this was something intellectual, something by Slavoj Zizek, a philosopher.
Yeah.
And he said that what he thinks about racism is that the best way to counter racism is actually to engage in racist banter. Because once you introduce yourself to the stresses, to anything that hurts you, and you live through that, you become stronger. That's actually anti-fragility. The concept popularized by this intellectual, this academic, Talib. So once you expose yourself to this kind of things, it becomes nothing. It's like nothing to you.
Okay.
You gain from being exposed to these stresses.
Okay.
So that was what Talib espoused. But what the philosopher posited was that to counter racism, you actually have to engage in racist banter. And that was what I was going after.
So you wanted to stir a conversation on racism with that post?
Not really.
But I mean, racist banter, it kind of...
It wasn't just about race, right?
Yeah.
Or certain race. It was more about the occupation and what it was to... I have this thing about filter facades, and it started off with my first project, the facade project.
Yeah.
So I felt that Instagram was a place that allowed people to hold and project very filtered facades that were not representative of who they really are.
Yeah.
And it's because of this malaise or poison that makes things very superficial. It encourages interactions that are very surface, on the surface, and they are not very deep. And it encourages a certain form of, and this is the worst thing, a group thing.
Okay.
It encourages a kind of, you are supposed to behave in this way.
Okay.
And if you behave in any other way, society would condemn you.
Okay. But it's kind of hard to say that it was okay. You said profession, but the first thing saying no Banglas, right? That is race, lah, right? So was there even the arrangement, right? Was it a conscious thing, like how you arranged it? What came first? What came second?
Yeah, no Banglas was meant to incite the most impact.
The most impact.
Yeah.
But based on what you said about the philosophers,
I was going after the impression that people in our society have
Mm-hmm.
against this demographic or psychographic,
Mm-hmm. Which is what?
which is they would not find Bangla attractive. They would always complain about getting approached by Banglas
Mm-hmm.
on dating apps.
So this was when
It
you
was
said,
a legitimate problem that
so when you say they meaning
you don't even have to do market research to uncover this.
so but then what kind of research do you base it on?
Just interactions with people on dating apps.
Okay.
I use dating apps, so I'm quite familiar with the complaints that
Yeah.
girls have
Yeah.
about their experience on dating apps.
Okay. So but what you just said where
So this was actually to remember I had a thing against filtered facades. This
Yeah.
was actually to surface.
to surface what you're saying, people feel, right?
Yeah.
So all you're doing is bringing it to the surface.
Yeah.
Okay.
And getting people to confront what they really feel.
Okay. Do you talk to any Banglas?
No.
So I'm just and again this is not a podcast to vilify what you did. It's just to kind of understand the mindset, because like we like these kind of discussions and hearing your perspective lah. But like what you just said, I guess maybe from a minority's perspective lah. If I were to bring out whatever the parents of my friends when they were young said and like accept that as the truth, right? Then I wouldn't have many friends. Because I heard a lot of my friends tell me their parents were like, don't friend Indians, right? So then it's kind of, that's why when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so it might be what people are thinking, but is what people think or like is what a group thinks always correct? I mean, that's the problem with democracy, right? You know, democracy, majority wins, but there's always the risk that if everyone thinks a certain way, it doesn't make it right. So what are your thoughts on that? Okay, so overall, like after everything happened when you posted this, right? Looking back,
The objective wasn't to say that not liking Banglas is a right thing.
okay,
I'm just trying to bring it to the surface
Uh-huh.
to get people to confront it.
Would you say
It
that?
doesn't mean that I agree that there should
okay,
be no Banglas or Bangladeshis in my app. Anyway, I wasn't referring to the nationality Bangladeshis. I'm nothing against Bangladeshis.
It's a profession of.
One of the hottest guy friends that Kylie knows is Bangladeshi.
So how did he react to this? Yes, Kylie, please.
When I told him to join the app and he found out about this post, he was just like, Kylie, and I'm like, yeah, no, because like everything there is not what we stand. Like on the surface view, when you look at it, it would not, like we said, we don't limit certain demographics into our app. Yeah, so it's not what we stand for. I think like the post just really wanted to spark conversation and like just confront like what people, like the common stereotypes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, what I wanted to ask was, so do you actually see what you posted as sort of a satire about the state of how people think about?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Political satire.
to be perfectly honest, sometimes our videos, when we do stuff like about racism, right? We do satire about it.
It's like what Izek asserted, right? You have to confront it and
Yeah. So I mean, we make that same kind of satire.
you
I think
sort of like desensitize people to the hate.
Yeah. So but remember
Racism
Haresh.
becomes not a thing anymore.
Yeah. When Haresh and I had a discussion about
That's what happens in the army, right?
I mean, but just let me finish it. In terms of like the satire that we do, I mean, we think a lot about even the order of which we make a joke. Like if a Chinese person is saying like a satirical comment about a Bangladeshi person, right? You know, like for some of our racism related videos, we even think about do people even realize that we're doing it as a satirical piece? So it matters, even the order of which we say the joke, that matters as well. Are people bought into the fact that this is satirical? So do you think it would have been different if, let's say, you released this post and you had a chance to very clearly say that what you're trying to achieve is to bring racism to light? That means it comes as a companion piece. Like do you feel like you were shortchanged in the sense that you didn't have a chance to say your piece about it immediately after posting this?
Would it matter?
I
People only
would-
respond to what they want to respond to, and they don't really care about your rationale.
I think it matters in the sense that then you can almost hold these people who continue to vilify you, right? To like, okay guys, I clarified, I apologize, and then it kind of puts them in a bad light. Whereas if you don't clarify it, then they are basing it on the only evidence they have there, and it's harder to kind of tell them to, okay guys, can you consider this other thing you wrote? You're not going to capture everyone, and that's just the internet. Like whenever you kena an arrow, like the latest person, I guess Aziz Ansari with his whole case, the whole debate that started. So it has caused a whole outpouring of hate towards him. But there's a subset of the group that is considering the more deeper implications of the story. But it's always going to be a minority. But at least you hear, there's a little bit of clarification there, or like just a bit more deeper debate. So you don't think it would have met? I mean, you did apologize, right? You did.
Because I did clarify. Like even before I apologized a year later.
Yeah.
I did clarify on a Medium post.
Yeah, and I think I read that post about like what you said, like bringing these underlying sentiments out to the surface.
I
and
even
that's
posted a video that the voice Exec made about racism.
So can you?
Nobody cared. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
But that's not a reason why you shouldn't do something per se, right? That because nobody cares. I mean, there are definitely people who read your Medium post. I read it. I think I read it even before we invited you to this podcast, because I did see the post. I was like, okay. I mean, as much as I don't agree with it at all, but it's still something that I agree makes people think about things in a certain way, and I just wish people think about it more deeply, because like what you're saying about bringing light to light, bringing to the surface sentiments that are already brewing. Yeah, you can argue that it's helping us deal with it, because rather than have this facade of fakeness and all this hate underneath, right? It's better to bring it to the surface, right? But in terms of the post itself, like you wrote the Medium post, but how long after you posted it? Okay, so if I were to ask you, looking back, right, if you had a chance to press post at the time of posting it, would you still post it?
Yes.
Okay, so that means what you're saying is the benefits that came out of it outweigh the bad PR.
Yeah.
I mean, posting, but is there anything you would have messaged or done differently alongside the post?
No,
Or?
nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing. Everything will still remain the same.
Everything will remain the same. So
Exactly the same.
So that was in March 2016, right?
Yeah.
And Kylie, you joined when?
August.
Also, you joined after that post.
Yeah.
Because he was looking for a co-founder.
Oh
remember?
yes, correct.
Yeah.
So did that post make you want to join Highblood?
No.
So what are your thoughts on the post?
I thought it was really bad PR as being the marketing person in
Uh-huh.
the company. This caused a lot of havoc
Yeah.
when
Really,
I
but we
joined the
have a lot of
company.
evidence of PR professionals themselves agreeing that even her own.
As in like publicity is
Mother.
still
No,
public-
yeah,
yeah,
no-
you know what I mean. That's the bright side of things. You can always look at things in two different ways, but like I also didn't agree with the post, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about it?
It's-
I'm guessing you guys have had this debate before, internally, or is this the first
Yeah.
time you guys are?
So many times.
Okay. So I would love to hear your thoughts, Kylie.
Just this to me is just really too vulgar. Like I wouldn't be able to have that. I wouldn't say bravery, but that like the ability to post something like this, because I know that if I let's say I created this and I was gonna post it, I would probably know something bad's gonna really happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, and as for me, I think I don't really have that as much of a anti-fragility characteristic as Herbert does.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't It's not
Maybe
me.
we shouldn't call it anti-virginity. Maybe we should just very simply call it tolerance. So we can
Tolerance.
tolerate a certain level of negativity in response to whatever we do.
Okay. But do you think... But everyone has different levels of tolerance, right? What you're saying is everyone should be beyond this certain threshold.
Yeah, people should be encouraged to be more tolerant.
Okay. Of posts
on
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. So... Okay, but you were still... Do you have anything else to say?
Actually, I wanted to ask is, so like, let's say if, Herbert said that he wouldn't do anything differently,
Yeah.
but now you're like a co-founder and everything.
Yeah.
What would you be telling him about if he was about to hit post on this? Like, what would you say to him to try and convince him otherwise? Or
I think whatever I say wouldn't help, but I would just try to warn him, like, this is gonna take us down a really long road to gain people's trust back.
Yeah.
Because I think like because we do verification, right? To me, that's a very big key component in our company. Like, we have to have people's trust and have a good reputation, because like we're handling sensitive documents and people's information, and like I think this just kind of like breaks that trust between like us and our potential customer base.
So if at this point in time the post was about to go live, you would still let it go because...
I would really fight till the death, but in the end we both have access to the admin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
that's a quite interesting dynamic. So you guys do disagree on a lot of like.
Yeah.
I mean, you do marketing, but I mean, I would argue that this is
This is your domain.
This is your domain.
But this was
at the same
before.
time-
Yeah,
like,
correct.
Yeah.
I joined. So
But Herbert, would you? I mean, I'm just trying to understand how the dynamic would work between the two of you. Like, would you take into account what she's saying? Or?
Yeah, I didn't do my second sensational project, which is to have a nude exhibition.
I kind of stopped him from doing that.
But wasn't that
Okay.
also because no one sent nudes? Or did people send nudes?
Yeah, we had a few.
Okay, so just to refresh my memory and
few
correct me if
being
I'm wrong,
tree.
this was to commemorate the launch of your app, right?
Yeah.
Where you asked people to send you nudes
Yeah.
because you wanted to do a nude exhibition.
Like the one that was done in New York.
What was the one done in New York?
The original
birthday.
one was this artist.
Okay.
He got people to send nudes on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or not Instagram, it's Snapchat.
Yeah.
And people did.
But what was the point of the exhibition? As in, what
point-
like these exhibitions always have a certain, they want to explore the human body.
Yeah.
So was it something along those lines?
He wanted to create a characterization of how modern media is being used these days,
Okay.
and the media that he wanted to bring into the spotlight was Snapchat.
Okay. So what was your like 2-line summary of your exhibition?
My exhibition was to create a parallel between revealing your vulnerabilities,
Okay.
and it's kind of like revealing your new body, right?
Revealing your vulnerabilities, but in the art form or to market Highblood?
To market Highblood.
So what's the link between your vulnerabilities and Highblood?
Highblood is about revealing your vulnerabilities, right? To expose, to from the outset say that this is how much I earn.
Okay.
This is what school I come from. It makes me a real person.
Okay.
This that will be.
So
the vulnerabilities get exposed in a way such that the person knows quite tangibly things about you.
Okay.
That they will never find out in other.
So how come you didn't crowdsource like people's certificates and job employer hire letters? Because that's also essentially...
Yeah, but that wouldn't have the visual impact and appeal that a nude exhibition would have.
So that means there is a part of your marketing thought process that what can I do most to push and get the most views? Like,
And it has to be something different.
something different. So what was that? Like you said you stopped him from doing that.
Yeah.
But how many nudes did you get?
How many nudes?
How many nudes?
Three.
3. So what was your benchmark to, like, how many nudes would you have had to carry on the exhibition?
I think 40. Yes.
40. And you already had a place and to do it.
We could get a place quite cheaply.
What's the regulations behind that? Because I know in Singapore art, you can't show genitalia or nipples or something.
We cleared that already.
So you can show nipples and genitalia?
As long as you get a license for it, I suppose, right? Like.
You don't even have to get a license if it's a private showing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a private showing.
Got it. Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I was intending to make it public.
Uh-huh.
So eventually we'll get that license from the right authorities.
So that means, like, what you're saying, okay.
Like I even asked Minister Grace Fu about her thoughts on this.
And what did she say?
She said it's okay.
To market the Highblood app also.
Yeah.
Did you ask her what her thoughts are on the
news
Highblood?
exhibition are not really a new thing in Singapore. There have been news.
Oh yeah, correct. But because those new exhibitions for art, to me, is still different, like a marketing PR event lah.
That's why you have to get the clearance from.
So did you ask Grace Fu about her thoughts on Highblood?
No.
No. Does she know about the app?
No.
Also, when you were talking to her, it was just about the exhibition lah.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So that means, like, when you say when you want to do something, so your approach, correct me if I'm wrong, it's okay, we want to do this marketing thing, and it almost seems like Herbert is this layer that comes above and like, okay, what can we do to really get views? Like?
So he's the one with the crazy ideas, like
Okay.
always pushing the limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you,
it's just good to have lah.
so are you aware of the whole Logan Paul controversy recently?
Yeah.
No.
I
No.
am.
Okay.
I've been
So basically,
I've been living under a rock for the last 1 month.
to
We'll get to that later. If you are interested
to-
to know why.
yeah, I am. But before I get there, so to summarize, Logan Paul is he was a huge Viner, and now he's one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube.
Viner's dead.
Yeah. So once Vine did, there were a lot of Viners
He went to
to YouTube. So he's got like 15 million subscribers. He does daily vlogs. He's been doing it for the past 460 days. He's been growing super fast, fastest channel to ever reach 10 million subscribers. And on January 1st or December 31st, 2017, he went to Japan and he did his vlog, which was like 15 minutes long. And in the thumbnail, he had a picture of him with a dead body hanging in the background. You know the Japanese suicide forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened was he was traveling with his friends. They wanted to kind of camp in the forest to explore the ghostly paranormal aspects of it. And when they were walking around in the day, they chanced upon a body. So he said up front, oh, there's a dead body, and oh my god, I'm freaking out. But what they did after that was they went close up to the body, they zoomed in on the guy's hands, they looked at his pocket, they said his bag is there, this just happened, and they were like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. They started joking about it, and at the end, they wrapped it up by saying they still kept it in to raise awareness for mental illness. So when he posted that, it got a huge backlash, I think more so than any YouTuber has ever received. With the argument being like, where does it end like? In this goal to get more views, right? How much? What are you doing? Because it totally disrespected the body and the people's family, like. So I think that covers the whole thing. And now he has stopped vlogging, and it has affected his relationship with YouTube and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's generated a huge amount of conversation online, like. But just from hearing that, right? What are your thoughts on what he did? He got a lot of views. He got 7 million views before he brought down the video. He posted a 1 minute apology video, 1.5 minute that right now maybe 45 million views. And his channel didn't take a hit. It in fact had the biggest growth rate on those few days compared to the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of it?
Actually, I didn't manage to see the whole video. So when you mentioned the zooming in onto his hands, and
there's a
stuff,
live leak video.
I didn't see that actually. I only managed to see the part where he was like, "Oh my god,
Talking about it.
there's a dead body,"
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with doing that
Okay.
at all.
And Kylie?
I think the bar really stops for me.
What do you mean the bar really stops?
The limit, the threshold.
So you got no bar lah?
Something that I will never do.
Yeah, where's the bar for you?
Pedophilia.
But everything else is fine.
Everything else that I can imagine is fine.
Cute.
So that means when you say the bar that means nothing even related to pedophilia. For you, pedophilia is off limits. But let's say other controversial topics like rape, you
Yeah,
might
I was gonna say
consider.
that.
Might consider, yeah.
Okay. So just so Kylie can finish. her
Obviously, I'm
thoughts.
not advocating rape.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something that I might bring up in.
I mean, yeah, even the world's
In my
best
mind.
stand-up comedians, they talk about rape, but they do it in a very skillful way that kind of talks about the issue rather than the victims, which I'm totally fine with. But just to finish Kylie's thought on the whole Logan Paul thing. So just to give you context, if you Google live leak, you can watch the whole video. We're not going to put it up here
Okay,
because
yeah.
it's fucked up in my
Yeah.
opinion and Terence's opinion as well. So what they did, they zoomed in on the fingers, and I think it was bluish.
Blue, oh my god.
And they didn't. They blurred out the face in the video.
Yeah,
But
they
they
did.
put the body in the thumbnail.
Oh
And
no, I didn't see that also.
yeah, and he started the video almost saying that this is probably a first on YouTube because no one has ever done this.
Yeah.
Almost kind of proudly stating
Probably
it.
stating, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end he said, okay, this is for awareness of mental illness. So it was just a very...
I just think like the whole thing was actually quite dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have planned a video in the suicide forest,
Mm-hmm.
like and something that was so comical was just not the right context. I just feel that was a very bad move on him.
Mm-hmm.
But
it worked, right? See, we're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to get your views because...
I still don't think he should have done it. So yeah. But I don't believe that he deserves that kind of so bad hate,
Mhm.
you know. And I think maybe he like, I don't know, maybe he wasn't really thinking straight, like when he saw the body and like in front of, and having a camera pointed at him.
Mhm.
Not
Normally the bodies will be removed.
Yeah, so
But
it was a fresh body.
It was a
got
fresh
to be
body.
reported
Yeah.
and
It was,
everything. Yeah.
they were reporting it when they
First time.
filmed it on camera. Yeah.
It's an opportunity not to be missed.
So for you philosophically,
I would have done it.
You would have done it.
I've done exactly what they've done.
I see. So that's where I'm. So a few things you all have said is that you feel that one post that you all are famous for, amongst other things, does not stand for what you guys believe in. But right now, hearing you guys kind of stand for different things. Am I right to say that?
We're like the yin and yang, man.
Yin and yang. So when the yin and yang, I mean, it's a balance. But let's say if you guys, so even in that instance, you guys are reacting to it very differently,
Yeah.
which I find very interesting.
I just stepping away from the philosophy of it, right?
Yeah.
How much of what you're saying about what the app is supposed to do, how much of that applies for yourselves in your dating lives? Like, when you go on a date or whatever, right? Are the first questions you ask really like, oh, what's your income? What's your profession? And what school do you go to? Okay, good. Now we're done. Let's have dinner. Does it apply like that in your real life?
I wouldn't ask income, but I'll ask everything else. I
Okay,
think
why
for
wouldn't
me-
you ask income?
For me, it's like I understand the sensitivity to
Uh-huh.
some people. So like on a first date, I guess I wouldn't spark that kind of, like I don't want anything bad to happen. I just want this first date to go well, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like bring up any controversy. Like, that's me, at least. If it continues to progress, then maybe I'll like, you'll start to know, and then you can ask once you're comfortable with the person. Like, yeah, that's
Okay.
me.
Okay, but
Okay.
then so let's say it's I'm assuming, let's say you like the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything's great, second date, and then suddenly it comes out his income and
Mm-hmm.
it's below what you expected. Is that immediate no for you then?
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never considered income as a barrier.
But yet you're involved in an app that
Puts income
allows-
as a priority for, as in.
It's not. We didn't put it as a priority.
priority.
It's not.
It's
we
a
didn't-
the first
filter.
filter. Like,
We
the
didn't
first
even
filter.
expect people to validate their income.
So I mean, I tried to download the app and play around with it, but I realized I need to get verified, and
No, you
have to.
don't.
no, as in like there's a process that I can't just get in unless I pay, right? There might be a chance I might not get in, right?
But you don't have to
High-
verify your
you don't
income.
Oh, correct. I don't have to verify, but I still need to get that whole 3 out of 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, like any other dating app, I can just go in and log in. So that's why I haven't used the interface yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're searching for someone, do you have to enter a salary criteria, or you can just put like I don't?
You don't even have to have any criteria. You can just like, it's just, I guess, Tinder. Yeah.
Mhm.
Only when you want to start inputting the filters that you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's to
Then you
automate
can-
the filtering
yeah.
process.
Okay.
Mm.
Is to use Highblood as a tool to automate what you already would filter out if you did it manually yourself.
Okay. So then, if Terence,
So my thinking is, okay, income is a thing. Singaporeans, right? Income is a thing. It's a concern. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
They have that concern. So if they would have that concern, why not put it out there in front? So why waste time? So it's like startup thinking, right? If a startup is going to fail, let it fail faster. Then you
Okay.
move on with your life, right?
But like your marketing co-founder just said that for her salary is not a
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Not a
I
deal
wouldn't
breaker.
use that
Yeah.
filter. But other people who have that in a priority can use that filter if they want to. But I don't have to use it.
Oh, so it's
just
something
there.
you can
Yeah,
switch
correct.
on
You can
and
switch
off.
off and on all
the
the filters that we
motivation
have.
for
Okay.
income to be there in the first place
Yeah.
was not because income is like going to be the thing that I cannot do without,
Okay.
but it's there because it's an objective measure.
Of
Everybody recognizes $1,000 to be
Yeah.
the same, no matter where you go in the world.
yeah. So it's an objective measure of what, a person's character or
It's an objective measure of a person's identity, because when you verify your income,
yeah.
it's using it's like a mediation layer. It's like you don't think about income, but you think about the verification process. The person has to submit his national identity card.
Okay.
In the US, it's his social security pass,
Yeah.
and then he has to juxtapose that against his salary slip.
Okay.
So we use this as double factor authentication
Yeah.
to verify his identity. So it's all about identity. It's not really about what he
The
earns.
characteristic.
But we do
yeah.
understand that in Asian culture and society, how much you earn is a concern, and it reflects somebody to a certain point, to a certain
Okay.
level.
Okay. So I mean, I also believe that like if you just throw finances to the wind and don't think about finance and do what you love, yeah, I don't prescribe to that, because I think in this world if you don't cover yourself financially, you're going to be a burden to other people.
Correct.
But would you say that for both of you, like to what extent does characteristics like this, which are, you can say, a bit more quantitative and material, almost define a person's character?
No, we're
So
not
you don't-
materialistic at all. That's why we always say that you get these superficial things out of the way so that we can concentrate on the things that matter, like chemistry.
But then by getting that out of the way, you might be writing off some people who might not meet your.
Yeah, you might.
So then that kind of contradicts
But
what
you're
you
already
just
writing
said,
them
right?
off on a dating app, in other dating apps anyway. So
How do you know that? Because technically, let's say if I were to meet this girl on this one app, and let's say she's unemployed right now, so her salary, or she's unemployed for 1 year, and I meet her through a dating app, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in love. I would not have met her on this dating app, assuming we're all on the same apps, and I would have missed an opportunity for the love of my life
you
through your
might.
app.
That's a
Yeah.
conscious decision that you have to be aware of when you use Highblood. So
Yeah.
to remove that filter is actually just removing the filter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
so-
design Highblood so that your filters are not permanent.
Okay.
They can be adjusted or even taken out completely.
So then who is
So
the
if you don't want to have an income filter,
yeah?
don't have it.
So then who is the Highblood app targeting? Like in terms of the whole slew of dating apps out there, you can argue like Paktor is more local, Tinder is more, it started off more expat driven, and now, so like is there a certain demographic that Highblood is targeting?
Yeah, Generation Z.
But Generation Z also, I myself am not really sure what Generation Z entails, because
You're
it's such a,
you're probably Gen Y.
Gen
No,
Y?
You're Gen X,
so what's Gen Z?
but the youngest in Gen X.
Youngest in Gen X. Okay, so then what's Gen Z?
Gen Z is Kylie's generation. She's actually the oldest in Gen Z,
Okay, so
according to the classification.
what defines Gen Z? If you're the oldest and you're still studying,
97 onwards.
Born in 97 onwards.
but then born in 97 onwards 27, how many of those people already are working full time?
Oh yeah, so we begin the philosophy is any social app that succeeds tends to begin with a college going population.
Okay.
Like Facebook and
Snapchat,
okay.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I think I kind of understand what you mean, like who we're targeting,
Mhm.
right?
Like what's the
So, like,
ideal?
I don't think we had anyone in specific that we were really targeting. I think we just really wanted to bring about something that we felt that was missing from the dating app world, because like currently the dating
Yeah, but it's not missing from elite dating apps like
Yeah.
Luxy and all those.
It's not
but we're
missing-
not an app for you to find your sugar daddy or sugar mommy.
yeah, we
Okay.
don't want that verification and like the problem of safety to be only limited to like exclusive apps like Luxy, where you can have your sugar mommy, sugar daddy or whatever. And like we didn't want it to be also limited to only dating agencies, because
Yeah.
dating agencies, oh my god, you have to go in, you have to sign a form, you have to answer so many questions, and we didn't want like that long tedious motion. We wanted, you know, quick, simple, like having that swipe. So like being able to verify your objective credentials online is very easy, very quick, and it's also like it promotes safety lah. For me, it's like a huge thing. If I meet someone online, I really want to know that they're not lying to me about who they say they are. Yeah. So I think that was like what we were trying to go for, like promoting that the authenticity. Like I want to know who you are, and like don't lie to me about it, because like, you know, I'm trying to find a relationship here or something like that. Yeah, because like the number one thing in relationships is like what holds it together is honesty, right? If you're not honest with each other, then how do you proceed on from there to have like a life together? So I think we were trying to like quicken the process, because we felt, especially Herbert, since he's such a frequent user of like dating apps, he felt that he was wasting a lot of his time with girls who would like lie to him about who they were, or like they don't meet him when they set up a date, you know, they stand him up and stuff like that. And like it's very time consuming, like being in that position where you're really trying to like look for someone to really connect with and not being able to do so.
Okay, so I mean just looking at the belief of your app, I think actually giving people choice is not a problem for me. I mean, even if you think about the application of a credit card, right? When I first started working, I couldn't apply for a credit card because I didn't meet the benchmark of salary. So in some way, these sort of criteria, you want to enter a country club, you want to do this, there's already benchmarks out there. I think my issue is the marketing aspect of it, and like, to be honest, even that one ad, and I totally don't agree with. So, but then now what you're saying is that, I guess even between the two of you, for you, no PR is bad PR, right?
Yes.
For Herbert.
That's him.
Pedophilia. And for you, I guess it's maybe a bit more maybe I wouldn't say
Calibrated.
I think she takes into account what people's impressions would be lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then let's say if
But I would want to confront those impressions.
Yeah.
Okay, confront those impressions, and because it gets you more eyeballs, or because you think that's the way we should all deal with those kind of things?
That's the way we should all deal with this kind of things, to think about it deeply.
Okay, so then maybe it is worth, I mean, because when you're saying you're thinking, issues normally affect people from a whole bunch of different demographics lah. And I do think everyone should think about it more deeply. But going back to the example of let's say that ad lah, because that's the only quantifiable thing, or one of the few quantifiable things we have as a anchor. If you were to talk to maids and banglas, right, how you think they would react?
Condemn me. Be really angry with me.
Do you think that's justified?
Yeah, it's justified.
So then how does that help them get stronger? Because what you're saying is it's important that everyone confront these issues, right? So that everyone gets stronger.
Yeah, it would, because society has this impression of you.
So you're saying from their perspective, it would help them get stronger by having that ad out?
Yeah, and yeah, it's better to confront the reality that this exists and is being exerted on you by society, even though nobody says it.
But don't you think that can be harmful as well? I mean, that's in some way when people...
Why would it be harmful to confront a reality that exists?
Because it kind of reinforces a belief that only maybe a subset of people have. And if you're assuming that is what society has on you, right, that can be dangerous, right?
Yes, it would.
So if that can be...
Then I would encourage you to be discerning enough to know that there are people in this society that don't think like what some people think.
True, but that is the issue with like discrimination in general, right? Like the belief of a few sometimes can be extrapolated to be the belief of society, and the target of those beliefs can sometimes think, whether justified or not, that everyone hates them when it's only a subset, which is the problem with the internet, you know, like most of the vitriol online is done. I don't know whether there's any research to back this, but I'm guessing it's not the majority of the internet.
Yeah.
but it almost, the volume makes it seem like it's the majority. So if you're saying that apps like this and posts like that help the people who are targeted explicitly in those ads become stronger, right?
Yeah, it helps you get desensitized. Why not?
It helps you get desensitized. So have you been in a situation where you were the one being targeted by a belief that might be representative of what society thinks, and you felt it made you stronger?
You mean what people think of me?
Or like, let's say, because, okay, the Banglas and mates, Banglas is definitely a race. Mates come from a whole bunch of different races.
I wasn't referring to Banglas. I was trying to tell people that I'm referring to not really psychographic either, but the occupation.
The occupation of being a
the main
Bangla?
concern that girls tell me, like, Singaporean working girls, their main concern with dating app is Banglas. Don't want to see Banglas. I don't want to see Banglas.
But Banglas, like you just said, you have a friend who's a Bangla.
Bangladeshi.
Yeah, but he's not. But a Bangla is colloquial for someone who's from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
It's just that in Singapore.
It's not.
No, that's in Singapore.
Yeah, okay.
If you go to anywhere,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is not a derogatory thing. In Singapore, it has become derogatory because they are associated with a job that is, I guess, not the most coveted.
Enviable, yeah.
Enviable. But even within then, there are construction workers from a whole bunch of different countries, not just Bangladesh. So by you equating Bangla with a job that is not coveted, already fundamentally there's an error there, right? So do you agree with me there?
Yeah.
So is that something that, but you just said that even if you could post it now, it's not something you would change. Would you change that?
Would not change that.
Even though you know
even
that
if
it's
there's
inaccurate.
an error there, but the impression holds for a lot more people.
So you're saying that these kind of things put out as...
How do you expect someone to understand what a Bangla means?
But isn't that part of educating the people about beliefs that don't make sense anymore?
Yeah, so they confront it, and then
so
they
this
know
day
it for
is who?
themselves
This
that
day is who?
it's not true.
This day is the Banglas themselves or the people who don't want to see Banglas on apps?
The people who don't want to see Banglas.
But if you're not correcting them and you're reinforcing their belief, isn't that contributing to the problem? Because if you had put an asterisk and an asterisk at the bottom, Banglas, we are referring to the profession of construction workers, a large subset of which are made by Bangladeshis, I'll be okay with that. But then you yourself said that you were going for the profession and you knowingly know that not all construction workers are Banglas and Banglas is not a profession, and yet you still would not correct it if you had a chance to post it now.
But the Medium post corrected it, so...
Correct. But now I'm asking you, if you had a chance to go back in time, or let's say you go back in time with this knowledge that Banglas are not equals to construction workers, you wouldn't change it?
No.
So it almost seems like you want to put that post there to get the publicity and then yet have this post to clear your name on Medium.
Yep.
So is that your approach for most things, almost?
I want to deal with the impression that people have about...
Of what?
Of what they accept and what they do not accept.
Okay, but how are you dealing with it by reinforcing one of the beliefs? You're not giving them a balanced education one. In fact, if you're asking them, you want them to confront their impression. All you're doing is you're reinforcing their impression.
Does it reinforce that impression?
Because like you said, from your market research or whatever anecdotal info you have, people don't want to see Banglas on apps, right? And what you also said is that because there's a certain stereotype that the term Banglas implies, which is inaccurate if it's just tagged to a certain profession. But if you're using that in your marketing, then you are reinforcing their impression. Because you're almost catering to their desire to not have these Banglas, whoever they refer to, on the app. So how is that helping solve the problem in any way? Or helping them confront the issue, be it the people who don't want to see Banglas or the Banglas themselves?
That goes back to what Exec said about combating racism, right?
Yeah, but racism, there's always the people being racist and the people being racist
it works
too.
The same way for any kind of discrimination, right?
Yeah.
On
So that's why
occupational
correct.
level.
So has there been an example where you were discriminated against, where you had to confront the reality of the discrimination, whether justified or not, and that made you stronger? Because I'm just trying to put yourself in the shoes of a Bangla right now.
I had to confront with ostracization
Based on?
based on my experience that I had in school,
But what were they ostracizing you for?
for thinking differently, for being really open about trying to form a good group and get good grades. That's all I care about.
Correct, but that is based on actions, right? Rather than a quality that you're born with. Because if you have an opinion that I disagree with and I choose to ignore you, I think that's
but
justified.
Bangla didn't mean something that you cannot control. Bangla meant an occupation
Yeah, but that's based on whose definition?
based on our
Yeah,
definition.
no, don't put me inside.
No, it's a very
I
important thing.
totally
No?
understand him.
My
Yeah, he's
definition.
right.
But yeah, if you have a definition that by most accounts is incorrect and it can't be
You're
anchored in
being-
anything quantifiable.
Yeah,
so
but
then-
people's impression of Bangla was construction worker.
and who are these people?
Uh,
Everyone?
Singapore society.
Everyone? I'm
You're
part of
making
Singapore society.
You're like making a
What?
statement that you believe
Chinese
that people.
working girls.
Chinese working girls?
But that's,
No,
that's only
Chinese-
also a subset of society. It's not. You may not know whether it's the majority of society. Like, you get it. Like, you're saying you're making a statement, or you're proposing a belief, a stereotype that you believe that society holds, which may or may not. Yes, but you don't have anything to back that up except your own experience. So it means that you actually inherently believe also that that stereotype takes place. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. And you can take your time to think. Because again, we don't want
Yeah.
a conversation where we are like,
That could be true if I was a girl. Why would I date Bangla?
whoa, why would you date a Bangla? I mean, so the Bangla in your statement refers to the profession or the ethnicity.
The profession.
But the Bangla is not a profession.
Yeah,
and
do
we
you
need
understand?
To
You have
clarify
to. You're saying like, okay, I wouldn't date a construction worker.
yeah, but definition
not a-
doesn't really matter
It
for the girl.
does.
Of course.
It does.
It-
It's like how like
her.
So then why
Understanding.
not use the term construction worker? You can
Because
you can ask the same question.
We don't call them construction worker, right?
You do what?
you do. It's
But in a colloquial way, you don't.
Because Banglas is derogatory.
yeah. In which in you're supposed to be, or at least you're supposed to be trying to counteract that lah.
Derogatory in the sense that you're tying a whole race
Race.
and ethnicity to a certain profession. So I would say it's derogatory to Banglas that you tie them to a profession. I have friends, Bangladeshi friends who went to Ivy League schools and all that. Kylie has a friend in uni
Yep.
who's Bangla. So you can ask the same question. Why, if you're a girl, why would you want to date a construction worker? And to me, that's a totally justified question.
Yeah.
Because people choose to be construction workers. People don't choose to be Banglas, or people don't choose to be Indians, lah. So if you had to ask the same question again, would you still say Banglas or construction worker?
I'll probably put a note because it's a Facebook post, right?
Yeah.
So in the comments, we'll clarify that it's referring to the derogatory meaning of what it refers to,
Based on whose definition? Yours.
based on my definition and a lot of people's definition.
But these a lot of people's who is it a majority, minority? Like what measure of these people do you have? Because by your rationale, I can post something saying that so and so, like a public figure, is a chibai face cunt. Then I put a star. Chibai face cunt, in my definition, is a person who is friendly in nature but holds differing opinions. Because that's my definition, and I have at least 10 friends who feel the same way. So do you think I can say that?
Yeah.
You think I can say that? Kylie, do you think I can say that?
No.
So I'm just trying to understand
Why can't you say that?
your rationale behind it. Okay, so even chibai face cunt is a term. If I say this guy's an annoying chink or annoying Chinese person or something like that, and my definition of a Chinese is that an asshole who deals in drugs. So how do you think that would work in social media? Like, and if I get backlash, is it justified? Because to me, Chinese people are drug dealers lah. To me, Chinese.
You could.
I could.
Yeah.
And so I could, yeah, people can do anything. But if I get a ton of backlash and hate, right, do you think
Is the
that
backlash
more...
justified? Yes.
Yeah.
Also yes.
So am I right to say that there's a lot of things you do which you know will get backlash, but it's almost a thrill for you to get the backlash because it fulfills this ulterior motive of maybe getting PR or something? You can take your time to think, no rush.
The point wasn't to get PR. The point was to get society to think about things in a more deep way.
Do you think it did that job? It fulfilled that objective?
Maybe it would not be so apparent immediately, but there would be other things that would be part of my orchestration to come later to get people to move in that direction.
Okay. So you think
like the Medium posts
but you think your Facebook post kind of laid the groundwork for
and the apology and other things that we do in future with regards to identity verification.
Okay, I mean, to me, identity verification is a step that I think makes a lot of sense. And I use dating apps, and I also see a lot of bots, and I will willingly admit that I have in the past gotten excited by chatting to a fucking bot lah. I was like, fuck this shit. So I appreciate what you guys are trying to do. It's just the approach. I mean, even the approach. It's just that there's some inconsistencies with what you're saying lah. So I'm just trying to clarify that because.
You're not the first person to say that I'm a walking contradiction, so...
So do you wear that as a badge of honor almost?
Not really. It's just I happen to think in very counterintuitive ways.
Correct. And I think everyone's free to think of any issue in any way they want, counterintuitive or not. But it's almost when you say one thing and then in the next statement, it's a bit like contradicting that, and then you're also basing a lot of things on your own beliefs and assuming that other people share the beliefs, which is where I'm just trying to find out more about and I guess it's one of those things that if you say you are a walking contradiction, is that meant to absolve you of?
No.
No?
I'm like I said, it's justified for people to take offense or to think that I'm wrong.
Okay.
It doesn't absolve me of any blame.
Okay.
And I will apologize for that.
But you still do it again?
But I might put that asterisk that you mentioned.
So that means your opinion has changed over the course of like
this deliberation, yes.
Okay, that's good to hear, and I really appreciate it. Which is the point of this podcast, to kind of share opinions and not just say, "Oh, you're a fucking asshole for doing this." Because I do think that these sort of conversations need to happen more. And the reason why we want to talk to you is to understand where you are coming from. Because like what you said about the philosopher, I've never heard of philosopher before, and yeah, he has certain points there, but I also feel that. For people targeting racism, not everyone is coming at it from a different angle. There are people who are the racists and the people who are being racist too. So
racists never think of themselves as racist.
No, I'm pretty sure there are some. I know of some who willingly admit they're racist.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I also have friends who are willingly admitting that they're racist.
Yeah, like even older relatives who say, "Yeah, I'm a racist," but
too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad. That's my point of view. I don't want, or like I'm racist.
Yeah. And to them, it's almost like a freedom that if you can choose people based on how they treat you, they can choose people on how they look. So I think I would say these tend to be older people in my circles.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are younger people out there. I haven't met many of those.
Or at least not maybe willing to admit.
Yeah. So then for you so even like when it's clear that you guys have kind of different thoughts on these kind of things, what made you still join the app?
I think what's missing is like he has this fire, right? Which can be channeled into a positive way. It's just that it hasn't yet.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that fire is really important, especially in someone who wants to be like an entrepreneur or like someone who wants to create something sensational, something big, the next big thing. And I think that's what Herbert has, that characteristic trait that's not found in like a lot of people. That so I think a lot of people in business they always go like the traditional route. I think like it always has to be like this business model, this business plan. You have to cater to whatever society wants. You can't be counterintuitive, like that template basically. And like for me, it was to see Herbert's characteristic like this, like it's really unusual, and I think that this, I think it's a good trait to have. It's just that it can obviously be managed properly and like be put into a better way, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think working with him gave me a lot of insight. I learned a lot, and I tend to see, and I get to see things from another point of view that I don't usually get to if like I stick around with like people who are similar to me. Yeah, so I thought this was like a very just really good experience for me. Yeah, to like be able to work with someone who's so different. Yeah, and being willing to take that step that usually we won't, like normal people won't be able to lah. Like me, I would not be able to. Yeah.
No, I think I respect a lot that you know, you're very open-minded about hearing his opinions and being able to disagree with him on the spot. I think that's
and still fundamentally agree on things lah.
And I mean also to Herbert about, you know, I see you're a person who also can, when you hear evidence or a logical argument, you also are willing to change your mind, which is something that is lacking a lot in a lot of debates online, so to speak. So that I guess that's why, you know, hearing you say, even just saying that you would put an asterisk is quite an interesting thing today for us to hear.
So then, like, how did the other interviews go that you guys had?
I think a lot of the other interviews when like they always had an agenda.
Yeah.
They always wanted to make the most out of it, so they were always like,
they want to hear the story they want to hear so that they can exploit it for sensationalism, and then for us for having that motive of sensationalizing things in the first place.
Yeah. Because I mean, I did read some of the interviews, and I also felt that it was very one-sided.
Hypocrisy, right?
Yeah, I think there was one article that I came across. I don't know if there's more, but the one on E27, which I was telling you about before we started the podcast.
That was one of the better articles.
Yeah, at least he kind of played devil's advocate and just compared it to other apps out there that are so-called elitist apps. Which I thought was...
Yeah, but the difference is that we're not sugar daddy, sugar mommy.
Yeah, correct. So I think, there are even worse websites out there, like Ashley Madison, I think is a piece of shit. But basically, what I appreciate about the article is that he phrased it in a way that by the end of it, I was thinking about stuff. Whereas the other articles, like, I think CNBC and all that were just like, it's almost like they put you up on a stake and the interview was just to stab you with stuff. So how did you all expect the interviews to go that way? Or you kind of expected? So you went in already. Did they send you the questions beforehand?
No.
So then what did they tell you?
We kind of knew what they would ask. Come on.
So how, like when they approached you for those interviews, right? How did they approach you guys, and what did they say the context was going to be?
We kind of did explain ourselves, like what we're doing now, right? But
whatever
they don't give. They just don't write. They don't write it on the article. They just take certain words that we say and write those that favor what kind of agenda they want to be on the article. Which is why we also wanted to talk to you guys, like, because that's the issue with a lot of these media outlets. Because I mean, we've been on interviews, some a lot more authentic, but somewhere it's just want to talk about racism, then they ask all these stupid questions that just scratch the surface and don't really mean anything. I think like a lot of media outlets, like, they don't want to really maybe put our point of view because like, I don't know, it's too sensitive. It's not politically correct. It's too sensitive a topic, or like, you know, they just let's follow the majority crowd. Like,
they don't want to get in trouble.
They don't want to get in trouble.
And that's where I agree with you guys that part of dealing with issues like this is confronting it lah. It's just, I guess, where we differ is how we confront it.
Yeah, correct.
But I still think it's if it causes debate and causes people to change their perceptions, there's some merit to be taken out of that lah. But was there any interview or any aside from E27 that you felt gave you guys a bit more, try to understand where you guys were coming from more?
The Pop Spoken article.
Pop Spoken, I see.
That was later syndicated on Yahoo News.
Okay, and what was there? I don't think I read that, but what was there?
He tried to bring out my personal story of being catfish. So that was the most differing aspect of that article.
Are you willing to share that story here?
Yeah, I got catfish.
Sorry, what does catfish mean?
Catfish means this is a fish, but it's actually a cat. in disguise.
So like basically a
fake profile.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so like someone who's saying that they are this person, but they turn out to be another one. Like, you know, those internet scams where it's like, I'm a girl, but actually I'm an old man sitting behind a computer.
Yeah,
that's being catfish.
Even that is not really the worst thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's worse than that?
What?
Girls that talk to you for a very long time, but they will never meet you.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I feel your pain.
Entire dating experience.
They'll tell you. They'll tell you.
Pre-dating apps, bro. Pre-dating apps also got.
They'll tell you. They'll get into a strangership with you.
A stranger?
Into a very intimate strangership with you.
Strangership.
Yeah, I call it a strangership.
Okay.
Because they'll tell you things they will never tell their closest ones.
Oh, so it's almost like an outlet for their deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah. Because it's consequenceless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have their profile there, or you mean it's somewhat anonymous?
As in,
No, as in they don't bring
it
it
doesn't
any
necessarily
further.
have to be anonymous, but anonymity would
Help
alleviate the restraint you have to tell someone your personal secrets.
As in
That was
like-
the whole point of Heads Up, actually.
Yeah.
My first app.
Your first app, okay. Which has now evolved into... So I guess... it's
I went the opposite direction with Highblood.
But in some way, it's still tied together, the
In some
verification
ways,
of identities.
it reconciles.
Yeah. So I mean, going back to the catfish story, like what...
But we are not anonymous anymore. We are full identity.
Yeah, full identity.
Yeah.
So going back...
Real identity that is sacrosanct and
Verified.
verified.
Okay. So would you say it was it was experiences like that kind of it gave you the seed to create an app like Highblood, right?
Yes.
So the catfish thing, like what like are you able to share what exactly happened?
There were two cases.
Uh-huh.
I think first catfish. Maybe my mind blocks out the memory because it's not something I would like to remember.
Okay, then that's fine.
There was one. Am I defaming somebody here?
You don't have the name.
Don't
Don't need to
have to name
mention names.
people.
Don't have the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did reveal later on that he was the administrator of NTU Confessions, which was a confession site that I had a lot of drama with.
Oh.
Like even during my time in Fess Up.
So he tried to catfish you to... This was after Highblood.
Before.
Before Highblood.
Okay.
So catfish, or it doesn't mean.
I think some people, it might be him, might not be him, also sent Kylie a message dissuading her from working with me, but so does all her friends.
Also, it's not just about dating. It can be just anybody masquerading as somebody else and then talking to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not about wanting to date you or anything like that. It can just be I'm
Yeah,
a
I
guy
think so.
pretending to be a girl, and
Or like
all
even
that.
a girl who's saying she's
No,
a girl and not saying who they are.
This particular person just wants to destroy me because I'm.
I think he's talking about the term catfish.
Yeah, no, because you say you block out the experience, all that, but so it can even be like I pretend to be someone else and I call Haresh and hey, I'm your mom and all that. So that's also you're saying that was like a big motivation for your experience.
Essentially masquerading as
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, because that experience has serious consequences later on in how I'm willing to trust someone online. And just already had an impact on someone that I know online right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means it was a pretty traumatic experience for you, lah.
So I want to remove that from anyone's experience in
I
online
see.
dating.
Okay. See,
Why-
that's
why-
respectable.
Why
That's
is that a
respectable.
bad thing?
No, I don't think. I think fundamentally, I'm totally on board with you for that. My debate just now was just about that one post, lah. But stepping back away from the post, what you said just now about your friends, like most of your friends tell you not to. How have your friends and family taken to the app? Like the.
Actually, okay.
Does that reaction-
When I told my mom,
My father was like, "You be destroyed for this. You cannot do this. Somebody will come and imprison you."
This was when Highblood, when you started after the post or just in general.
After the post, it was talking about the post.
Okay.
He had no issues with the motivations of the app. Actually, I don't even think he understands the motivations of the app.
Okay. Yeah.
Have there been any discussions about the name Highblood? Because that gives, I mean, the perception there is blood. When you say blood, immediately.
Yeah,
you
we
know.
kind of argue on that.
So what where's,
Completely intentional. Completely intentional.
but then what was your argument?
I don't know. I just
But you
like
agree,
for
right?
yeah. In the end, I was like, okay, fine.
It is.
Okay.
It's suitable,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
It's on a t-shirt now.
I think
We're
it's
going back,
like
man.
yeah, I know.
It's on our URL.
I think it's like it does spark things, but I think the deeper meaning of it is like
Getting people
Yeah.
to confront what
the
it
quality
means to
of
be
you.
high blood.
It's not you're looking
What
at a
is-
word and you
Uh-huh.
might think
What is
elite.
high blood?
Elite. This is an elite dating app, right? High blood.
Yeah.
Like, but we want it to be like quality instead of being elite. Yeah, like you owning who you are, and we want to have quality people on our app in terms of like they real people, that kind of quality, not like say like, oh, because you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you earn 10,000, 50,000, then you're quality. But the fact that you're authentic and you are your real self and you own it, that I think that's what we want people. Although it's not so direct, and yes, when you first look at it, it does spark controversy, and yes, that gives us some like PR, like
Because you could have, if you're talking about real people, you could have called it real
real,
blood.
real blood. Yeah,
Right.
but it wouldn't sound so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that means that
Yeah.
again ties back to you wanting to provoke, lah. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say the marketing versus
Yeah.
what
I have a lot
the
of.
intentions are.
I face a lot of rejection
Yeah.
from society. So there's this, and I do admit it. There's this
He has this inner thing of wanting
Anarchist.
to provoke.
Anarchist.
Yeah.
proclivity towards.
Yeah. So
provoking
some
people.
of his ideas I can accept. Like
And he
the
does.
name, it's not so consequential, at least not for now.
Okay.
Yeah, but like that certain posts that I wouldn't agree lah. So like we do debate, and I see like what's my limit.
So if if there's a good reason,
Would you say that without that post, there wouldn't be you on board?
Dun, dun,
No.
dun.
If you didn't have that post, and if I still met you and you came up to me and asked me and explained to me the app, and I still saw your
Oh, I actually hit on her the
veracity.
first time.
not through the
No,
app.
not really. The app wasn't out.
That wasn't even.
Oh, things
okay.
get
Wow.
interesting.
Wow.
So, okay, go on.
Yeah, I actually hit on her the first time.
In person.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Tech in Asia.
Uh-huh. Then?
And
I dismissed him.
Because he didn't, like, what, the criteria wasn't there.
No, I was just like so focused on the event. Like it was my first time in Tech in Asia, and like I didn't need a guy flirting, or like I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to like make business contacts, networks, and I was like really focused. Yeah.
So then how did that turn from like a dismissal to business partners?
I think we met each other again coincidentally also in another
in
event.
another
Yeah.
startup event.
Yeah.
gathering.
And then I was like, oh, you're the same guy. Okay, hi. Then we actually had like a conversation.
Oh.
And then he told me about his app. Then I was like, okay, let me like go back and think about it and read about it and see what I feel about it. Yeah. Then from then on, then like I would, if I see that I read about it, you know, looked at whatever was online about the app, that I confronted him, and we just talked. So yeah.
Okay. So just now you didn't completely answer about what your friends think of you on
Yeah.
joining the app, because you said your father after the post you're gonna get arrested,
Yeah.
right? What about you and your friends? And because you joined after the post,
Yeah.
but your app already has an association with being.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, some of my friends like will send me the post, and then they'll be like, "What's this?"
No,
and
I
then,
sent her the post. I was very upfront about everything. I wasn't trying to hide anything at all.
No, this is
what-
her.
Yeah,
this
no,
is her
this is my
friends
friends.
reacting, lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
yeah. So then they would send it to me, and then they would say like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Like,
Yeah.
Then, cause they are my friends, I would say like, "Okay, you know me, you know me as a person and what I stand for, and you should know that I wouldn't join a company that I definitely don't. If their values are this way, I wouldn't work with them." Yeah, and then I explained to them like what the post meant, and like that I also honestly disagree with it. Yeah, and that's why I'm here, and I've joined the company to make sure that these kind of things don't happen, or at least try not to happen again.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they're friends, they'll really understand. I have a few like maybe JC people that I know. I wouldn't consider them friends, but acquaintances who have talked behind my back, usual stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and some of my friends tell me, they're like, hey, you know, he said this about you.
Like what kind of stuff? Like you're a racist, bigot or something, is it?
Like how could Kylie join this kind of like this person? How could she work with like kind of person? Like totally disagreeing on the post. But the fact is, yeah, I personally do disagree on the post, but it doesn't mean that it stops me from joining the company, because I know like inherently that's not what Highblood stands for. It's just that it's a really bad post. Right?
I mean, that's a place where you can add value.
Yeah,
like,
correct. Yeah, that's what I feel. So whatever, real friends will stay with you.
That is cool. And your Bangladeshi friend still friends with you?
Yes, yeah.
Wow. Has he met Herbert?
No. Eh? No.
I think this is the sweetest founder story I ever heard.
Yeah, that's why.
Hitting on each other. Starts with that.
So wait, we have one question I wanted to ask just now. Like, damn it.
So this became
okay.
a litmus test for you to discern who your true friends are?
No.
You're trying to find another benefit of Highblood, is it?
Yeah. A way to filter out.
It's like, filter out bad friends. Join Highblood.
Litmus test. Because
Okay.
I have a lot of experiences
No,
there.
what I wanted to ask is, you talk about your inclination to provoke lah. So do you think that you can never get that many eyeballs without offending people?
Yeah. That was even what I was good at in school.
But don't you think it's very easy to offend people, whereas it's very difficult to provoke?
Well, one of my secondary school teachers said that Herbert always impresses, and that's kind of the feeling I get.
You mean impresses her in whatever you do?
Impress him.
Or impresses him, like...
It impresses him.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing I try to do. But it's always harder to impress than to offend.
Yeah.
And
I think what he means, like, there's a difference between offending someone and provoking someone. Yeah. There's a huge difference. Like, offending someone, okay, it's like, it's not as bad as provoking someone to actually take action. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, in the sense that I do feel that you can provoke and spark conversation without kind of shooting yourself in the foot lah. In the sense that, and by shooting yourself in the foot, I mean having to deal with all this negative backlash.
yeah,
Because
but that doesn't work in my experience. Like,
so then do you think it's not possible, or is it just that you haven't experienced it?
I think for me it's not possible.
Personally, or you think in general?
Personally, it's just not possible.
Do you think that's not something you can improve?
But it'll be futile, right, if I try to work on it.
Not say filtered out, because okay, what I'm saying
not
is
futile,
futile.
Yeah, it will not be successful.
Do you agree with that, Kylie? That you can, let's say, with all the articles, I don't know how many articles covered you when you had that post. Let's say 20 articles. Do you think it's not possible to get that same coverage by doing something that is still very smart, very intelligent, but
you get no eyeballs at all. It will not get noticed at all.
so you think things
You'll
can't
be ignored.
You think things can't go viral without offending?
Yeah, from me, no.
For you?
At least for me.
For you or for your app?
For me.
For you. Do you think that things can go viral without offending?
Yeah, I think they can.
So
Yeah, but that's because we are co-founders now, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible.
So by saying you are co-founders now, is it something you appreciate that both of you have different beliefs on that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
something that we are consciously aware of,
Okay.
and it might be counterintuitive to most people, but that's the way it works.
What is counterintuitive? No, in fact, I think it makes sense. What the co-founders should complement each other. What?
Most people they're not aware of that startup logic.
That's why they're not in startups, lah.
Yeah, it's completely counterintuitive to them.
Why is it? It's like a relationship. What? I mean, the best relationships. I mean, the whole thing opposites attract. I think that's a bit too simplified.
That's true.
No, I do think relationships.
I'm still trying to.
I mean, like between Terence and I, he's the one who's married. I'm not lah. So maybe I am getting everything. I'm missing the mark totally. Yeah. But I do think that if you go for totally alike, also,
It's a bit, yeah. You know,
I
can't-
appreciate being with someone who's different and is complementary. I know that's equating relationships to business, which are two very different things, but I do think there's some similarities because a business partnership, there's also a
Yes.
big interpersonal aspect to it. Right?
Especially for startups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that counterintuitive. Have you spoken to a lot of people who are like, huh, you're so different, how the fuck you all work together? People say that.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Actually, I have a lot of people eyeballing me because I work with him. Like, a lot of people ask me.
I guess because he does
What's the
have
meaning
a...
of eyeballing?
What do you mean eyeballing?
As in, like, look at me a certain way. Like
Like they
I
roll
would-
their
Rolling,
eyes.
rolling eyes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
sorry.
rolling eyes.
I think because maybe Herbert does have a public identity, whether you like it or not. That is
Also there's this insecurity in me.
in you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think looking back, I think it offends people when I succeed.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe people who are hoping to bring you down. lah.
No, even in secondary school, like it's just natural for people not to expect much from Herbert Ng.
But you said that your teacher always was impressed by you, right? Means he couldn't have been the only one who was impressed by you. Right? Or was he just impressed by your tenacity?
No, I only brought it up because I have this proclivity to want to impress.
But isn't that everyone? Doesn't everybody like to impress people?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't try hard.
At least in certain aspects of their life, I would like to think that.
Or do
Ev-
extreme things to impress.
But do you need to do extreme things to impress?
I wouldn't say they are extreme as in they are far out. But I do spend a lot of time and work really hard.
So then who are like your personal...
Although in recent years I realized that working hard doesn't pay off.
Is you can work smart lah, right? You rather than...
Yeah.
Don't say working hard doesn't pay off. Wow. What kind of message you sending to Singaporeans? That's what our society is built on, Herbert. Work hard and follow instructions.
Yeah, but doesn't pay off, man.
Doesn't pay off, huh? Wow, that's
I think like Herbert's experience is just really dark and negative, and he
Yeah.
doesn't see any positive out of it. Which
and
is,
you are the sunshine in his life.
This is such an interesting dynamic. What do you see as the similarities between you guys?
I think we've been through I think maybe it's too simplified to say same things. I also have been ostracized before by society, and I do have my own fair share of like haters in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely understand where he stands on like how much he hates the world, or like, you know, that kind of thing. Like society hates me, and yeah, it's just that
But Kylie is popular in a mainstream way. I'm not.
Do you see that as a real thing, or is it just his perception?
no, I think
Is it, like society
I think it's a real thing.
operates according to superficial heuristics.
yeah.
So aspects of a person that make most people covet them or envy them or want to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes in the form of money, fame, and looks. Heuristics.
Mm-hmm. So
Everything that's not this, like character, personality, drive, ambition, is all under the surface. You cannot see.
So you think people only
that
respect
are
people
not
with ambition when they have material stuff to show for it, lah?
When it's very apparent, when it's obvious.
Yeah. So are you saying that you think you'll be a lot more popular when you are worth like $1 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't deny that. Society is based to
Yeah.
to kind of veer towards that.
But having said that, I don't believe that attraction works that way. Like
Okay.
when you love someone or you're attracted to someone, he can be like the poorest person in the world, and you still be attracted
Mm-hmm.
because
So then maybe there can be a
Number
feature
one-
in your app when someone puts filter 1 million. Once in a while, you just throw a curveball, pair them up with someone who's like no money at all.
Different currency, yeah.
Yeah, different currency. Yeah.
oh, I might do that. Get
Yeah,
thanks
that's
for giving me
right.
ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Then I tell you, then if that happens and they fall in love, you have a fucking perfect story that will go viral, confirm. And it also like give you guys like this whole bunch of positive PR without any backlash.
But also like we don't really control what our users.
That was a joke, like, you know.
Okay.
I wasn't implying that.
We can't really do that because
Yeah, because we can't
Yeah.
just throw a profile at someone.
So then, what do you guys think of the practices of Uber, where they do some shady shit even in the back end?
Oh, I don't know about this. Sorry.
The one story I know is that they flouted some Apple guidelines for apps, and Tim Cook himself told Travis, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the ex-CEO, to rectify that. If not, they were going to be taken off the App
Kalanick.
Store. Yeah, Kalanick. So what Uber...
Basically what happened was that they put in a tracking thing such that they could track journalists and what they were saying, especially those who broke. No, it was part of the tracking thing in the app that they had to take
that
out.
was against Apple's regulations.
Yeah.
No, but the how they did to counter that was the thing they flouted, right? That was the thing they flouted. And how Uber counteracted that was they put a ring fence around Cupertino so that the Apple developers within their office, if they were to check the app, they would see a different version from what the public was seeing.
Oh wow.
Which is fucking genius.
Oh.
But it's
Yeah.
fucked up. Like.
Yeah.
Something very akin to what I would do actually.
Really?
It's something I
You
would.
were just... Why you want to dig that hole for yourself?
Yeah, but
Because don't you think that's unethical?
Apple's regulations doesn't equate to what is ethical or not.
But you're putting it on their platform, so in some way they do have the right to kind of... Then just don't put it on their platform.
From
You can focus only on Android,
see
right?
morality, right? There's absolute and relative, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be absolute, as in there are some things that you don't do,
Yeah.
like you don't kill,
Yeah.
you don't engage in pedophilia,
Yeah.
and
Isn't it absolute and consequential moralism?
surveillance and privacy wise,
I think that's where the issue is, right? Surveillance.
yeah, surveillance and privacy wise.
But yeah, I guess there's the surveillance
I
aspect.
think people are too very, very, very concerned and get so seriously affected by this surveillance.
You mean privacy issue?
Like why would it matter if somebody knows that you're in this location?
But then you're kind of telling people they shouldn't believe a certain way. Right? But everyone should have the right to believe a certain way. If it impacts them, then they are responsible for it. So if someone chooses to not have his location disclosed, what makes you able to tell him no, you should be okay with that?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
As in you don't understand their perspective.
I do understand the perspective because you get this feeling of being stalked,
Yeah.
and I can feel how it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
But then I also think harder, and I come to the realization that so what if he knows?
Okay, I guess there are many people who share that same belief. But
No, there's not many people that.
No, there's many more than just you, right? There's definitely a group of people out there who are okay with it. But what about the thing where when Uber was told that they clearly flout Apple's guidelines, and it's a platform that you have to admit Apple owns If Uber didn't want to be on Apple, if they really disagree, they can exist only on Android. But because it doesn't make sense for their business, they want to be on Apple. And then with that ring fence around Cupertino, which is fucking smart, but to me is ridiculously unethical. And you said that's something that you would do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't strike you as being unethical.
No.
Why not?
Uh,
How is
because
it justified?
Apple's regulations it's not a be all and all ethical thing.
But it is their platform. The Apple Store is their platform. So you can very well choose to not be on their platform.
So you don't install a tracking thing.
I mean, even a tracking thing aside, let's just say they're doing something, take a tracking thing aside, that clearly violates these very explicit terms that Apple have set out and for their platform. They're saying anyone can be on a platform as long as you meet these. Because I know Highblood also ran into issues with the App Store, right? Initially.
Yeah, but not for ethical
Not
issues.
for ethical
Yeah,
issues.
correct. Because there were some guidelines that
Only for very
Technical issues.
Technical
issues like the UI. What?
I can't remember, but it was technical stuff.
Okay,
We
so
don't
then
remember now.
take that aside. But Uber here, they have clearly flouted the rules set out by the owner of the platform, and yet they found a way to skirt it and present themselves as adhering to the guidelines when they are not. So to you, that's fine. Because how does that fit in with law? Like, you can argue that anything law out there is not the be all and end all of morality. Like. But because you are in a certain country, you abide by those laws. Like. You're almost saying that it's okay to ring fence the police and like be doing drugs outside, or doing something, or punching someone or stabbing someone, because your definition of morality means stabbing is okay.
I didn't say killing is okay.
No, not killing. Maybe just punching.
But that's like he's putting a very extreme example. Yeah.
Or like even maybe like a less extreme example of you doing something that is...
Uber's example extreme? That extreme? I don't think it was that extreme.
But I'm saying
but
the principle of
the
it.
principle, yeah.
Where you ring fence and you almost blind the authorities into thinking something when behind the back you are knowingly conflicting a guideline that they warned you about conflicting.
So it means that I don't respect the authorities.
So you think that's a good thing? But what about the people working in Uber who could have their jobs threatened by...
I wouldn't say that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's more of if it's something I have to do, then I have to do.
So for you, any rule can be broken, lah. And if you can break the rules, there's no harm in doing that.
There might be harms, and we have to live with it.
I see. Okay. Might be harms and you have to live with it. So that means any backlash that you get for any of your actions, you won't feel that it's unjustified. In the sense that you kind of, if you do something that you know is going to provoke, going to get backlash, you get backlash. For you, that's part and parcel of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Live with the consequences, right?
Yes.
Okay, but what if you are the CEO of Uber and you have this whole company behind you and you're doing stuff that even the employees don't know about?
There will not be a better CEO for Uber than Travis Kalanick.
Better in what way?
Every way.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
There's a very good startup article out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as a founder, he has a lot of qualities that make him a great founder.
That says that if you don't have that experience that carves you into a founder that really knows for himself and has this fire to succeed, you'll just never be a founder. And to really to recognize this and to deliberately get founders to be like this is to cast negative experiences upon them, and that's unethical, right?
What do you mean cast negative experiences on them?
Jedi Sith. Are you familiar with
Star Wars?
Yeah.
I'm okay familiar.
Okay, I kind of understand like
Founders
where
are like
both
Sith.
of you are coming from.
You put them
From different
Yeah.
angles.
you put them into so founders.
You're
They're-
saying like
they're
he's
not-
a good founder, but then one negative thing doesn't define him whether he's a bad or a good founder, right? Or bad or good CEO.
Do you know that Uber's employees
don't
protested against his dismissal?
I can imagine a subset of them protesting, but also I can
It's not
imagine...
a subset, it's everyone. They
don't make absolute statements.
Really? Everyone?
I think there might be
I know a few people who have left Uber because
people who are not part of that everyone, but on the grapevine it was most employees wrote a memo to the board to protest against his dismissal.
Yeah, but they might be coming from the point that they are well taken care of, lah. But if you look at his actions as a company as a whole,
It's
right?
like it risks the company. That's what he means.
Yeah.
It's like you're risking people's jobs.
Startups,
And
you have to take risks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're also a startup, and who knows? Maybe if we were more about
our generation should be very familiar with this from pop culture.
very familiar with what is this you're talking about?
This conviction and this
No,
willingness.
I'm totally with you for conviction and fire to succeed, but I think that's separate. If you have fire and conviction, doesn't mean you consciously flout rules in secret from your employees.
yeah.
So that's my issue. Like if I'm totally fine, whatever you do as an individual, you suffer the consequences. I'm totally fine with that.
But when
Like,
it affects others,
yeah, when it affects, would you still be okay with that? If it meant your app potentially being taken out of App Store, which means losing access to hundreds of millions of people,
Yeah.
that could affect your business, it's something you would still do and be okay with?
I might be more cautious.
So on that note, you still think Travis is a wonderful CEO?
Yeah.
The best CEO ever?
Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
I actually can see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
not the best CEO ever, but he's definitely on the level of Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
Uber came from
Yeah.
a place where it had to destroy all the old conventions, and destroying old conventions means people lose their jobs, means not caring a lot about that, and maybe for that early growth phase, he was really the best person for the company.
And he is definitely a phenomenal CEO, but I guess he has done things that
Questionable.
questionable. And again, questionable. Like I wouldn't agree with what he has done, but clearly you have a different perspective on it, which is fair, lah.
People might adore him in the future next time when he comes back.
Yeah,
What
they might.
happened to Steve Jobs?
Yeah, they might.
Well, I mean, you think Sean Parker, Napster, he started there. Napster flouted rules. Napster was illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, like to his point on that, some of these rules.
Sean Parker is still doing very well.
I mean, and he's.
I mean, even technically, Apple.
He's doing cancer now.
Yeah, he's dealing with cancer. Sean Parker is trying to
Oh
cure
yeah,
cancer.
correct. I mean, even Apple, if you look at it at its beginnings, they did also rip off the front UI from Microsoft. What?
Yeah, and then
so
Eduardo Severin he's suffered.
So
so
basically,
much.
the moral of this whole thing is to succeed, you need to be questionable.
Yeah.
Kylie.
If you play
I
games
hate it
like
because I'm always on the fence. Like I'm always like
if you play games
No,
like
but that's why it's a fun conversation, because if both of you were like of the same thing, then it wouldn't be that interesting.
this is why games like Fallout has made such a profound impact, because they put people in such situations.
Yeah. And okay, so we've been talking about 1.5 hours already.
Yeah.
Right. So we are gonna wrap up soon. So just to go back to that interview thing, is there anything else you want to say about Highblood that you haven't had a chance to say before that we are giving you the platform to talk about now? Any aspect of it, any thoughts, any perspectives, or anything you want to say?
I think we've said, at least I think I said
Yeah, we
pretty
said
much,
everything.
whatever we've covered in that 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I mean, anything else, Terence?
No.
Okay. And I mean, I still at the end of it, I think fundamentally your app, it is addressing a problem, but let's see what future marketing posts you guys put out. And if I disagree with any of your posts, I will voice out.
Please do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot for joining us. It was a good
you.
conversation.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Cool.
And
Thanks,
giving
man.
us this opportunity to make our stand, clarify our vision and philosophy of the app.
Okay. Cool. That's the point of this podcast, to get differing views and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Okay. Cool.